Northwest Strong for the honour. This should be something special.
Introducing first to my left, the challenger, fighting out of the armory, representing the 8-7, he is the Nigerian Kaiju, Warren Banks! And his opponent to my right, he is your current reigning, defending,
Whoa, 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 whoa! Well, after finish that for Hatch, Danny Black, your champion. Warren Banks decided he wasn't going to wait. And it might cost him, because you know what, Danny Black has wrestled it back in his favour as a suicide dive with the champion. In the most difficult defence a champion ever faces. Well, I mean, technically the last one they have is the most difficult one in some senses. But surely the first defence is also very difficult. This is new terrain for Danny Black. And finally the bell goes and we are underway. In terms of the differentials, it's quite clear to see some of them, weight, height, both being given up. Well, the champ, it's 5'7" versus 6'3" of Banks and 150 pounds of Danny Black against almost 240 of the Nigerian Kaiju. Went for the Inzaguri, but Banks was wise to it. Both men about as experienced as each other. Takes a Pele kick right on the bonce, says Banks. And Danny Black already climbing the turnbuckles, trying to assert himself early with a Meteora. Covers Banks. Banks a substantially bigger frame than Black. If you're going to have a strategy for either of them, Banks basically needs to stay on Danny Black, keep him, ground him. Danny Black's strategy has to be move, stick, move, stick, move, stick, move. Use the speed, do exactly what got you the title in the first place. Oh, went for out of the Black and went for it early, but Banks caught him and drills him right on the back of his head. Big senton hooks the leg, rolls over. Very good, used his weight, manoeuvred his way over to the shoulders, didn't have to directly push on them, used his frame to do it for him. Good cover from Banks. He's going to need one of those to put away Danny Black. It's difficult hunting ground in some ways for Danny Black. When we've been here before, he has tasted defeat, he has tasted injury. The henchman in this venue took him out of the FNW Tag Team Tournament, which of course led to the crowning of the Dead Sad Boys. He lost an absolute epic to Callum Newman for a place in the Magnificent Seven. It's not been hunting ground here in Milton Keynes, so that's going to be somewhere in his head as well. He's not just up against a heavier, taller opponent who has already been in a title match in this very building, just coming up short against Chris Ridgway. But he's having to fight with the fact that in this venue, he does not have a winning track record. That can really get inside someone's head. Both of them looking ahead. We know that we'll be back next month, Thursday, February 24th. FNW's Kingdom of Fight will present Strong. It's our next event here. Who's going to be champion? Will it be the champion Mount Fear or will it be the Nigerian Kaiju? It's a Hurricanrana and an absolute dandy from the champion, and Banks is in trouble. Look at the speed and rolls the kick. The leg right on the back of the neck covers him. It's a good strong cover, but look at the power of Banks. But Black axe kick straight over again, couldn't hook the leg this time, should have hooked the leg. A man that big, that powerful, Banks only needs a little bit of energy to motor himself forward in a way that Black doesn't have to. Remember, Black is giving up weight, Banks isn't. Black following in the footsteps of Chris Ridgway, Mark Haskins, Mark Andrews, There's people that have held the big belt here in Fight Nation. It's a difficult road to tread, I tell you what. If Danny Black wants to tread that road and get out of here with the title, he's going to have to avoid moves like that. He's going to have to avoid the power game, because if Banks gets going, Black's reign will be in real jeopardy, exactly as it is now, following that German. Tilt spin to a side, some very nonchalant cover though by Banks. No pressure on the shoulders, no hug to the leg. That's a mistake from Nigerian Kaiju. He could have got a very healthy count there. Good weight on the shoulders, but doesn't hook the leg. And you need to do both. You need to control the entire person when they're down. And the thing is, there's a lot of emotion, especially when you're in a championship contest like this, that you really feel the need to get it done as quickly as you can. But if you don't take that extra, that tiny split second, just a little bit of technique, you can let your opponent back out, because they'll try and kick out just as much as you will try to pin them. Uh-oh. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this for the champion. Managed to fight out, and this is what he's doing. Danny Black is having to fight out of things at the moment. Warren Banks has the command of the champion. The champions have to fight out with these situations. It's not just a case of it being one-way traffic. Danny Black is literally having to fight to stay in this contest. Look at this. One right hand there, one right shot, and down goes the champion. He cannot afford to take too many of those hits. He's got to get the speed going. He's going to have to try and bounce those ropes. Once again, though, he won't be deterred. He's trying to beat Banks with the right hand. And there you go. Go to the speed. Use what got you to the dance. German suplex by Black, but Banks is straight back up at knees. Black's head clean off his shoulders. Banks. Oh, did you see how high Danny Black? I could have sworn he touched the ceiling on the very edge of the sky, and he landed right on Banks's head in the process. And this is the first time in the contest you can say that it looks like Black has an opening that he can take. Black is slow to get up. That's the result of all the damage that Banks has given him. But he's had real little time there. Really little time at all. With any respite. And he's climbing the ropes, and you wonder, in the risk versus reward, is this smart? Maybe it wasn't worth it. He's been caught. And the 6'3" of Banks stalks the 5'7" of Black. Was he thinking superplex? Oh, this could be curtains. It could be an early end to the reign of Black here at Rise of the Kingdom. Oh, Banks is falling. Banks is trapped. Banks has got nowhere to go but down. And Black with a Meteora landing right on top of Banks. Right on top of Banks. Has the leg hook. No! Tilted himself too much to the side. He had the cover, he had the leg, but his body was not the right side to keep the pressure on both shoulders, allowing Banks to roll through. Oh, small package. Oscar Harding straight there in position. I'll tell you what, how close was that? What an Itaguri! Took the air right out of the crowd here, just as much as did Danny Black. Turns the suplex, lands right there, almost a brain buster, doesn't hook the leg, and that would have been it, I believe. If he'd have had the leg, he would have been champion. You can see Banks looking straight into the eyes of Oscar Harding, saying, that was it, I had it, it's mine, but it wasn't. The moment swept him away. Could be thinking spear. But Black scouts it and jumps, and wisely so, because he'd have been knackered if he didn't. A half and half, landing right on the head of Banks. It was somehow back up. How did he spear it like that? The title is on the line. The spear. He took too long to cut the leg. Too long. He was so close. He hit the spear. That is the final move in his arsenal. That's the big one. That is the one that takes them all out. And because he moved the position of Danny Black, that split second was just what he needed. Look at Banks. He's incensed. He's taking on the ring just as much as he is Black now. Remember, Warren Banks has been in this position before with Chris Ridgway. He had Ridgway beat. He had him banged to rights. He's got to keep his head in the game. I think this is a mistake by Banks. He might think he's got Black beat. You've got to stay on him. You've got to press the advantage in these situations. That might be a mistake from the number one contender. Warren Banks told us at the very first show on our return that he was in terrible tool mode and he wanted to stake a claim. He said this was his house. Maybe that's why there's such a deliberate pace, but Danny Black has taken none of it and takes another shot down. And this is once again bad news for Black, and Banks is just throwing him around at this point. The champion must surely be on fumes. Oh, he's taking the armband off, took the armband off, got caught by a Spanish fly from Black. Just when you count Black out, he comes up with a solution. Blackbuster! Blackbuster! Blackbuster by Danny Black, and the Warren Banks Nigerian Kaiju. He is down, he is prone. Black's up to the top, and this time he won't be deterred. 450 splash, and he got every single morsel of it, and that is enough for Black to retain.
Here is your winner, and still FNW British Champion, Danny Black!
You have to think on some level that it was a mistake not to go for the cover after the Blackbuster, but what the hell do I know? Straight to the top, 450, 1, 2, 3. First offence, it's in the book, it's in the bag, and Danny Black lays claim to being the champion as we head further and further into 2022. What a win! Warren Banks came up short. I was so sure when he hit that spear, he turned him inside out, he flipped him. He flipped him almost out of his skin. But he positioned Danny Black, he tried to move him.